Next story, we can't have a transfer stream or video without mentioning Mohamed Salah's future, and that is no different today. This time, Barcelona have told Mohamed Salah that he can join the incoming galaxy of stars at the new camp next summer on a free. It is believed that Barca are a major reason behind him stalling on agreeing a new deal. Colin, it's the Mo Salah window, isn't it? This transfer window. But do you think Liverpool would let him leave on a free, just knowing that he's going to go for free, or do you think they'd sell them? Because I know if I'm Julian Ward, I'm not letting Salah just leave for a free to a potential Champions League rival, especially Barcelona.
I mean, but if you were to sell him, wouldn't you have to do it in this window? And then replacing Salah and Mane, and with like Firmino on the decline already, that's too much of a job for like Julian Ward to do in his like first ever summer window, and it's going to need like bags of cash. Okay, you're going to have to pull off an Ocean's 13-11 heist just to get that much money to like afford replacements for both Salah and Mane in a single window, especially when there aren't too many world-class wide forwards in the market at the moment. Like, you can't even like count them. Like, there's too few of them. So I think it sounds horrible, I know, for a player of Salah's pedigree and quality to leave on a free transfer, but it's too big of a hole to replace Salah and Mane in the same window. So I think that's the course of action right now. Just, okay, fine, if he's leaving on a free, let him leave on a free and get the most out of him for the coming season, because he's going to have ample amount of rest as well. And I think he also feels like he has some unfinished business with Liverpool having missed out on the Champions League this time out. So, like, use him like a bar of soap next season, man. Get everything out of him, and if he wants to leave on a free after that, we'll pray to all the gods and see what happens.
I mean, Bob, I see where Colin's coming from there, but surely, we've seen it in the past. If someone agrees a deal with another club and they're still at the club, they feel like they're playing for nothing, almost. Their future's already, they've got their future sorted. And we saw with Salah this season, when the contract talks really started getting a bit choppy and it wasn't sure if he was signing after AFCON, his performances dropped to below an average Premier League winger. He was a different player. Do you really think that if he walks for a free, that's going to improve next season?
I don't know if it's going to improve. It depends where he goes, to be fair. It depends if the team that he goes to play to suit his attributes like we pretty much do. But to be honest, I'm just getting bored of it, really. Like, I know what you said initially. Are we going to let him go on a free? Surely we should sell him. I mean, if someone's going to make a bid for him, then I'd seriously consider it, yeah, because there's no point letting him go on a free. Like, I'm just tired of it all, like, to be fair. Like, he hasn't, since, like you mentioned, since he's come back from AFCON, he hasn't been the same player. So as we speak, really, the contract that Liverpool offered back then should be the same one on the table. Really, he should be lapping it up right about now, because he's been well off, like well off. And sometimes I like when he comes out and talks a good fight, and sometimes you just think, like, just leave it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the whole, I know we can say now it's easy to say now in hindsight, but the whole Real Madrid thing, we have a score set up before the game. I don't know why he didn't just do that after the game, to be honest. I just, as a superstitious person, that just annoyed me at the time. But yeah, basically my point is, if we can get someone to put the money for him this summer, then yeah. But again, it seems like he's already dictating to us, because he told us all that he's definitely staying next year. So even if someone does come in, he might not want to go there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, we've discussed this a lot. It is a feeling that he's trying to hold the club to ransom, or like a bit, and we've seen how that's worked in the past. It never works out for the player who's doing that. But I agree with what Bob said there. He can't be making demands with the 6 months that he's had. Yeah, you can have a great 4 years at the club, but you go off recent form, and his recent form has not been of somebody who is asking for 400 grand a week, and no matter what, we can't break our wage structure for somebody who's scored. I think he scored 3 non-penalty goals since he come back, from open play. And I agree with Bob to a sense. I think, but I would say to him, look, here's our highest offer we can go. If you don't sign this within the next 2 weeks, then we'll sell you. I think we just need to be brutally honest with him and try and get what we can out for him, because there's probably clubs that will pay, upwards of 60 million for him this summer, isn't there?
100%, mate. I agree with every single thing Bob said, to be honest. I'm sick of talking about it. I'd say to Salah now, you've got up until a week before the Charity Shield game. This is the final offer. Accept it, or you're on the market. Like, we will listen to offers for you. It's no good for anyone now, to be honest. I think a lot of the fan base are turning on him. Some are turning on FSG. It's just got toxic a bit, I think, mate. He's starting to hold the club to ransom about talking about playing for a Premier League rival. He's in no position to be making them type of ransom demands or anything like that. His last 6 months, he was awful. And granted, first 6 months, he was brilliant. Everyone's saying, oh, you won't replace Salah. Well, we wouldn't replace Torres, but did. We wouldn't replace Suarez, but did. We'll replace Salah and we'll replace Mane. For me, I'd say this is your final offer now. We're not getting into the last year of your contract. You're not running it down. That's your final offer, sign it, or you can go this season.
From what I've seen online, Mane's getting more stick from the quotes he made. Is it yesterday or whatever, the 60-70%? He's getting more flack about disrespecting the club than Salah has all over the 6 months.
And Mane's actually come out and apologised since, like saying, "Oh, it was all in jest. It was like a bit of a joke."
Yeah, I see that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You got Salah's agent just running amok. Like, he's pals with Fabrizio. It's like he just tells him whatever he wants to get out there, and it's happening. And then people are saying, "Don't attach Salah to his agent," but he can get it. Listen, he can get him to be quiet. Like I said on one of the ones before, Raiola, before he passed, obviously was Haaland's agent. There's one time he made a comment about where Haaland's meant to be going. Haaland wasn't happy, and he got retracted the next day. So if Salah's not happy with what his agent's doing, he can get that nipped in the bud straight away. Really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I go around and ask you all the similar questions to before, but Liverpool's wage structure is something that we've had to adjust massively, and since we bought about 1 million players in from Southampton, the 2 highest earners at the moment, or 3, I think, are Thiago, Virgil, and Salah, who are on around 280 grand a week. The report from a lot of people is that Salah's demanding £400,000 a week. Liverpool are only willing to offer him around 320 or 300, somewhere around there. Colin, I'll start with you, but what's the highest you will push this wage to? Is offer, maybe 320, maybe you'd want to offer him 400 grand. But if he wasn't to accept that, how much do you think Liverpool could get for him this summer?
You know what, I'll say one thing though, like when it comes to like these wage demands and stuff like that, I'm more inclined to take the player side solely, like any player. I'm not just talking about Salah, I'm just saying like in general. I'm more inclined to take the player side solely because, first of all, these athletes have short careers, right, relative to other jobs. So they'll max out at what, like 38, that's it, like 36, 38, right? So after that, there's like very few opportunities for them to like earn the kind of money that they've been earning in their professional career. So if you go from like earning £350,000 a week to earning like nothing possibly, that's like a big drop, right? And especially when you're talking about Salah, like we all know his story, like his background, where he's come from and stuff like that. So when you're talking about like the wage structure and stuff like that, like 320 grand a week, that's generational money to a person like Mohamed Salah, who's come from Egypt and stuff like that. So whenever it comes to like these discussions about, oh, this player should be super grateful to the club because the club has given everything, this and that. Yes, but if you like look at it from the player's point of view, it's still like a lot of money for like a short career. So it's natural for them to want to maximize whatever short window they have and like squeeze how much of money they can out of the club. And I know for a fact that Liverpool also based their wage structure around like, okay, you will get like, okay, what, 300 something thousand a week, but the bonuses and this and that and this and that. So if you take all of the like a Premier League win or Champions League win, those bonuses kick in. So you're potentially earning north of like 400 grand a week. So
Do you,
even
do you
this time, like, yeah,
do you not think, Colin, no, that's him holding the club to ransom? I mean, he's set for life, no matter what. Like he could retire tomorrow, I think, and because a large majority of players' money doesn't come from wages; it comes from sponsorships. The one he has with Adidas, the one he has with Pepsi, and not to mention the probably hundreds of other ones that he has. And at the end of the day, no one's bigger than this football club, and if he's demanding stupid amount of money when he's not performing, then the club can't give into that, and they shouldn't. And I think that's where a lot of fans are angry per se with Salah.
I get it. Like, I get what the issue is, but Liverpool Football Club is a massive, massive commercial operation. Like, there's a lot of revenue on the books and there's some revenue off the books as well. So this is like a massive, massive football club. When we're talking about the club trying to stick to like its wage structure and not budging to demands of like breaking that wage structure, I get it. I get why that's a concern, because you don't want potential signings looking at XYZ players deal and saying, oh, you know what, he's earning this much amount of money, so you know what, you need to renew my contract and make sure that I'm paid as well. But like I said before, though, like, I know the club can afford to pay it because it's like a massive corporation, it's a massive football club. There's a lot of revenue, there's a lot of sponsorship, there's this and that and this and that. So they can afford to do it. And if you're Mo Salah, who was like in the Ballon d'Or running for like how well he started the season, you want to see yourself you want to get that back because you believe in yourself that okay, you're one of the top 3 players in the world. You think that's your right. So I get where he's coming from.
I mean, Bob, do you agree with Colin? Obviously, siding with Salah there.
Partly in the sense of obviously he can demand whatever he wants. That I don't really have much issue with that. But obviously, in the same token, the club can just go, "This is our line." They can have where their line is. What I haven't liked about the whole situation is he's trying to play the fans off the club kind of thing. So when he started off from at the beginning, when he's coming out with the fans know I love the club, I love them, and all this talk. When really, if it's strictly about that, then just sign the paper then, because you're not offered pence. Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to say that, say as well as financially, I want to be well looked up. Just be honest about it. I know it never will happen, but that's how I've got bored of it really quickly. So it's every time is the club know what I want. Okay, but why not telling us what the club are prepared to give you, or the fans know what I want? So it's as if to say like with putting the club in a difficult position. Kind of, if he leaves, he's setting up the situation that we can all blame the FSG, and they'll be perfect. And the whole wage structure thing is annoying in certain situations. Like I don't understand. We've got this whole wage structure thing, but we went and had a conversation with Mbappe. I don't know why we did that. That was just a waste of everybody's time, really. Because if we can't tie down Salah, how are we gonna pull that off? Do you know what I mean? So I think the wage structure thing, they'll spend I believe they'll spend the money and the wages where they believe they'll be able to. I don't know, is it what they say resell value on the player? So for instance, Salah now they can't give him a 4-year deal on 300 because by the time that deal comes to an end, they're getting nothing back, and they probably can't sell him on or get him off the book if they wanted to. Whereas maybe if Mbappe came in, they could do that, knowing that we can still sell him on later on down the line if it was to happen.
Yeah,
But yeah, he can put a demand in, but as a club, they can decide where the line is. To be fair, and if where they're saying is a line, I think for me personally, 300 is enough, or 350. That would have been fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, we know how important the wage structure is to Liverpool, which I know what Bob said, it's annoying, but we're not run by a state, we're not run by an oil country. We are ran by ourselves. We know FSG, apart from the stadium expansion and AXA, which we end up paying back ourselves from with what the club makes, we're basically a self-sustaining club. And it's not like Salah is saying to, billionaires who who will pay his wage, because at the end of the day, they're not paying his wage. What Liverpool make from the competitions, from transfers, from revenue, from TV rights, that all goes to the player. So he's not just holding billionaires, ransom to a sense. He's holding the actual club and Liverpool fans, and I think that's where I hold a bit of a grudge, because when Man City fans do that, it's fine. They've got their owner pays for everything, but Liverpool's not like that, and the wage structure is so important. If he obliterates that, then that it goes out the window for every other player, because Virgil's going to want to rise, Thiago, Alisson, Trent, name it. Salah's an important player, but he's not the only important player in the squad, is he?
No, and that's why I wouldn't massively go over the structure for him. I think 350 is fair. I think he's done enough to earn 350, and maybe with some bonuses on the end of it, like he gets, I don't know, 10 grand a goal or something like that. So he's earning more than 350 a week. Essentially, it's on him to score an assist to get more, which gives him the incentive to push on them. But the thing about it is, if you're going to break the salary cap or whatever you want to call it, if you take Salah out this team, we can still perform. And you're seeing that in January. Whereas if you take Alisson out, or Van Dijk, or arguably Trent for me, that can change the whole dynamic of our team. And with Salah, that doesn't happen. So arguably, them players could easily say, well, hang on, if Mo's on 350, I easily should be on 350, because when they're not actually in the team, it makes a much bigger difference than when Salah isn't in the team. So I think that's why FSG are holding firm on it, is because of that reason, to be fair. He's not as influential as maybe he thinks he is.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you've just said there, Jay. I think my absolute limit for him would be 325 grand. I would not go a penny over that. And if he doesn't want to sign that, then get rid of him this summer. I'm sure PSG would sign him for 70 odd million just to sign him. And I think there's a line you have to draw. We're not Manchester City. We're not.
The only caveat I would say to Salah and Mane, to be fair, is that if we end up losing them both, fair enough, we're going to replace them. But the one thing I'd give them is that they've been fit, like no injuries, pretty much throughout their whole time they've been here. So we'll be lucky to find two players that aren't picking up little niggles here and there. They've literally just been like machines, to be honest. Like rarely, they hardly miss any games.
That's true.
Yeah. But I think you can find that's all a luck thing, isn't it? When Salah could join PSG or Barcelona and then break his leg within a game, and
yeah, of course, there's impact injuries, but even the muscle injuries, just like, they must look after themselves well enough. To be fair, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think I can't remember what the name is. I think it's like Zone 7, which is a fitness company that we've been working with this season. And I saw something that they had stopped all muscle injuries by a third. So compared to last season, we only had a third of what our muscle injuries were, and they've just signed a 2-year extension to work exclusively with the club, working with the under-23s and women's and under-18s too. So I think if we were to get somebody in this Zone 7 or whatever they're called, would probably take a long look at them. I think that's what something that Jurgen Klopp is prioritising as well. So I don't think that's as big a deal to me. I think we could sign somebody and who will be fit and not have muscle injuries, but more.
I hope so, because when we were losing Genie, that's the one thing I didn't want to lose out of Genie. I know everybody had their say about it, but he was available every day. Do you know what I mean? And we all love Thiago, but a week ago, 10 minutes before kickoff, we didn't know if we started or not.
To be fair, he did play a large majority of the game though, so
no, he did, but it's just that panic was not needed on top of everything else.
I think you've got to look at it when we signed Salah and Mane too. They weren't world-class players. They were decent players in the league when, even rated probably among the top 5 wingers. So we've done it once before, and we will do it again if they both end up leaving.